What's up out there? Today we're taking a look at a short little idle game called Fill Up the Hole. This is developed and published by Fluffy Lotus. It will be releasing July 17th, 2025, priced at $2.99. There is a demo available that gets you like the first 30 minutes or so of the game. It is available on Steam, and there are no reviews on Steam yet because the game is not out yet, which the developer reached out and provided me with the Steam key, which is how I'm able to bring you this video ahead of its launch. What this is a short idler game where you're going to have peons run around and throw trash into a giant hole to fill up the hole, as the title would suggest. And then once you've filled it up, meet your quota, there's an earthquake button that'll pop up, allow you to ascend. You ascend several times, and then you reach an ending to the game, of which there are 2 endings for this game. Before we dive into the gameplay portion of it and all that, I like to go through settings and controls because we always get a lot of questions about windowed mode and screen resolutions and things like that. And I'm happy to report that this does offer a variety of window resolutions you can try, as well as full screen mode. When you get the game and turn it on and first play it, there's this weird screen effect. It's like a double vision kind of thing. Kind of makes your eyes go a little bit googly. If it bothers you, you can actually disable that in the menu. And if you don't like the pixel font, you can turn it to this really nasty looking Arial type thing or whatever kind of boring font it is. The pixel font is much better, but if you don't like it, you can actually disable that as well. And there is, once you get into the game proper, there is mouse wheel pan and zoom where you can zoom out or zoom in as far as you want. And there's limitations, but you can zoom in and out to it, and you can pan around with the middle mouse button. I think pan also works off right click, but I love middle mouse pan and zoom. Now, there are 2 different game modes to this. When you first load into the game, there is a new button. You click on that. You're going to play the game for about 2.5, 3 hours, somewhere in there. The developer suggests it's about 2.5 hours. In practicality, it took me about 3 hours. I was playing it a little bit slower, taking a little bit more time to read and digest things. And then towards the end of it, I kind of let things just idle and got up and went and did some things around the house and came back and let it finish. So it probably could have gotten done a little bit faster if I was optimizing it, but your mileage may vary. I got about 3 hours out of the first end, got an actual ending. So there is another hidden extended game mode that you can access from the main menu screen. You got to find it. You got to figure out where that's at, but that lasts about 4.5 hours. So if you get those 2 together, you're looking at about a 7 hours of gameplay. I think there's a little more replayability here. We'll talk about that towards the end. But roughly you're looking at 2.5 hours on your first playthrough. And then if you go and find the extended mode, it's 4.5 hours. So combined, you're looking at roughly 7, maybe 8 hours of gameplay. There are 2 possible endings, and I'm not sure if the endings are tied to the game modes. Like I got the bad ending off of the 2.5 hour mode. I'm not sure if I get the good ending from the 4.5 hour mode. I don't think so. I think there's something I actually need to prevent happening in the game. At one point, I saw something fall in the hole that wasn't trash or peons or bulldozer or whatever other stuff. There was something in there. I think that's the way to get the good ending, is to prevent whatever that is from falling in the hole. I don't know what it is. I kind of just barely saw it. So I could be wrong in that. I'm not entirely sure, but there are 2 different endings. You get a good ending and a bad ending. I've seen the bad one and I haven't seen the good one. And there are also the 2 game modes. There is an option on the main screen to toggle the relax option, which doesn't allow your buildings to deteriorate. Personally, I played this just normally. I didn't care about the relax option myself, but the buildings do not deteriorate all that fast. They do deteriorate and fall apart. I just found it as more of a time to rebuild and do something different. Like as you play through, you've got a quota to meet, and it's kind of a long bar. Some of them quotas are a little faster. As you progress into the game, it gets a little bit longer and longer and longer. And I found that by the time my building started to deteriorate, it was time for me to change my strategies anyway. So I just incorporated that into the way things worked, and they don't fall apart all that fast. So you're not rebuilding them constantly, and it's not annoying. So I just didn't see the point in using the relax option, but it is there if you don't want to have to deal with the building deterioration at all. First thing you're going to do is start off by hiring some peons. You're eventually going to build some buildings, upgrade them, and try to generate as much money as possible to keep funding more upgrades. Eventually, you'll build buildings that give you research points, training, and a variety of other things. You'll unlock a passive tree, And, you keep continuing through the game loop and filling up the hole, meeting your quota, clicking the earthquake button until you get an actual ending. On the passive tree itself, once you unlock this, it's kind of a Path of Exile sort of passive tree, not that big or complicated or anything. Pretty much what you do is you unlock a node that then leads to other nodes you can unlock. So you have to start with one and then you can continue forward. And there's a little eyeball button in the lower left of the passive screen itself, which will toggle all of the hidden stuff, or so you can either show all the hidden stuff or hide it. It's kind of cool to see how far everything goes and kind of plan what you want to do, but it's kind of annoying because the thing is pretty good sized and your kind of eyes go everywhere. They gray out all the stuff that's not available, but it's still hard to not look at everything all at once. So you can toggle that off if you want. And if you have enough currency to purchase an upgrade, it will blink. And there's a variety of different currencies on there. There is the regular money you generate by throwing trash in the hole. There's also yellow and blue shards and research points, which are like an off purple kind of color. So there's a wide variety of different currencies you have, and they unlock all kinds of different things. So you may want to push for more gold or more money at some points to unlock certain things. You may need to push for more yellow shards, blue shards, or research points, as the case may be. And as your buildings go, I don't know, I think they might generate clouds as they go. There's definitely passive points that you can get, but buildings will start generating clouds at some point. You can actually hold your mouse button on that. You don't have to keep clicking it until they go away. You can just hold the mouse button on it, but those will break down and throw trash into the ground. There are passive points to make that go quicker, so you don't have to hold as long. You can actually just basically click on them at one point. But you have to get put in upgrades to get it to where they move along faster. But those are like the cookies in Cookie Clicker that just kind of pop up every once in a while and give you a little bonus. These don't give you a bonus exactly, but they'll give you trash that drops on the ground and something to do while you're waiting on your peons to idle around and throw everything in the hole. And there are quests to complete as you do certain things, reach certain monetary levels, reach certain levels of trash in the hole, things like that, build certain things, whatever the case may be. There is a little metal button up in the upper right, and you'll see a notification in the lower left that says you now have something to claim. You go up into that metal button, and then you can go claim it. They'll give you different rewards, like you might earn a yellow shard, blue shard. An airplane might fly over and drop garbage in. There's a wide variety of things that come in, so you want to keep an eye out for it. I did not notice at first, like I expected that metal to blink because like if you go into the passive tree, stuff blinks when you can actually click on it. So I assumed that's what the metal would do. It took me far too long to realize that when you have something to claim, the metal has little lines coming out of it, like a light bulb showing rays of light coming out of it. When you've claimed everything, it goes back to just being the metal. So there is a way of telling whether there's something to claim or not. The problem is you'll get the notice down in the lower left and it will pop up and say you've got something to claim, but then it goes away. And then you maybe you're in the middle of building something or doing something, you forget about it. And then you'll think, oh yeah, a few minutes later, I got to go claim this. So there is a way to tell with the little lines coming off the metal up in the upper right. And there are quests. They are useful. I did not complete all of the quests on my first playthrough at all. And I did not complete all the passive tree on the first playthrough. So there's a lot of replayability there just to see what all that does. And there are various perks that you'll unlock along the way. I think they're on the passive tree. Like you'll unlock a bulldozer that can come through every 5 minutes. It'll be a button that you can pick on, and then it shows it cooling. There's a cool off period. You'll see it timing out, and then when it comes available, you'll be able to click it again. And it's something you can use as like a strategy. You're trying to finish it off and you want to make it go in a little bit faster. You can push the bulldozer. It'll come through and push as much of it trash as it can over into the hole. There's other stuff like mods for the peons so they move faster or clone or something like that. And there's another one for a catapult flush. I don't know if there's any others that come up, but those are all the ones that I've seen. There's a wide variety of buildings that you can put in here. There's houses for your peons. There's factories that generate trash and you can upgrade those. There is also catapults to launch the trash all over the place. And there's little upgrades you can put on the buildings to where like the catapults vacuum in trash from both sides and not have to be filled up by the peons. There's a research building, a training building. There's helipads and all kinds of cool stuff in there. There's a cloud seeder building that does a little cloud seeding thing. There's a lot of strategy to be put in here, and I think there's quite a bit of replayability, to be honest with you. I've got, I don't know, 5 hours in the game so far at this point. I'm through the first scenario and probably a little bit into the second scenario. Well, it's replaying the same thing, but I'm 3 hours into the first mode, the short mode, and then that leaves me 2 hours or so into the longer extended game mode. And that, like I said, that's 5 hours so far. I could see myself getting easily 7 to 10 hours. I could see myself trying to speed run this at some point too. How fast could I go through this? How can I work on the passive tree and strategize all of that stuff together, and what buildings I'm putting where to try to get through things a little bit quicker. I don't think this is like a 100-hour game by any stretch, but there's a decent amount of replayability to this. And as far as technical issues that I've had, nothing. The game's played pretty flawless. Now, that said, when I got far enough into the game, like it was 2.5 hours or 2.5 hours into it, when I had a lot of catapults firing off and stuff flying all over the place, when I would click and hold on some of the clouds, occasionally the game would slow down. And I don't have a bad PC or anything. I don't have a great PC, but I don't have a bad one. But I think the amount of particles that gets on here really can slow it down at some point. The general gameplay was fine. It was just whenever I clicked on one of the bigger clouds, because the clouds will merge together, whenever I clicked on one of those and held on it for too long, it would slow you could see it slowing things down. Not like drastically, but you could see a performance hit on it. I think there's an option in the main menu or in the settings that you can turn off trash in the hole or something like that. I've tried turning it on, but I didn't see it do anything. Honestly, I've turned it on after I've beaten the game and I've started a new game, so I'm not as far into it with as much going on the screen, so I don't know what it does, but I'm going to guess that option is there in case you're running into any kind of performance issues. This is a pixel style game that's black and white, so it shouldn't be all that demanding on your system, but I'm guessing the amount of pixels and all that kind of just goes together too much, and it can hinder your impact or impact your performance a little bit. But that's it. Otherwise, the game's played flawless. I've had no crashes. I've had no other issues, and I don't even call that an issue. It was just more of, I noticed that it was slowing down. I kind of had to laugh because I'm like, man, there's a lot going on this for as simple as the game looks. And that kind of wraps it all up. It's been a fairly addicting game. I have enjoyed every second that I've played of it. It's a game that I could see myself wanting more of. It's one that does not overstay its welcome. It plays as long as you need to. You beat it and you're kind of happy with it. There is an option to come back for an extended mode. There's a second ending you can go for if you can figure out how to get the second game mode and how to get the ending and all that. And like I said, there's if you wanted to try to speed run this or try to make it go a little faster or more efficient or things like that, I could see some replayability to this. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. If you're interested in the game, I will have a link down in the description box below. But that's going to do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.